All right, and we are underway. Well, and look at this. Both of these contestants find the letter right away. That means they can go ahead and access any potion shop, which is huge, especially if they need a potion for that level 9. Some people take the potions for level 9 and others don't, but yeah, having a letter is a great starting item to have.
The one thing to be very careful of with an early letter, though, is because it's going to be the only item they have on their B button, if they happen to press it when they're in one of the potion shops, that's going to trigger the text, and every time they now enter one of those, it's going to eat up some time we're having the text scroll. So even though it's a great find, it's also something to be leery of.
Well, I just noticed something here. ZebGedney's got the Tingle sprite, so that should be very interesting. Does that mean he still has to face off against Ganon?
Yes, Tingle is not one of the ones that makes it otherwise. Any of the overworld or the dungeon enemies or overworld enemies, Moblins, Gorillas, Darknuts, Wizrogues, then you face it up against the giant Zelda.
And CoreZero has found a penalty, so that's going to cost him of all his rupees. CoreZero finds a money-making game. Not many people are going to play the money-making game unless they're desperate for more rupees.
I'm always desperate for more rupees, both in Zelda and in real life.
Yeah, I can't blame you there. Greed is good.
However, it's not good. 115 rupee piece of meat. I would definitely not be buying that.
Yeah, it looks like inflation's gone up in Hyrule by buying that meat. So yeah, look, they're right in the same location. They're literally high-fiving each other. We've seen that a lot. But to do it this early is kind of amazing. And CoreZero and ZebGedney both find the Armo statue item, which is the magical wand. A very nice weapon to have early on, considering that neither one of them has the sword.
Yeah, Wand's a huge help because Wand is not only going to give them a way to actually deal damage to things, but the Wand is actually going to allow them, so when they find the wood sword cave, to have the option of taking the candle, because the Wand itself is actually going to deal 2 damage per hit, as opposed to the 1 that the wood sword would go. So it definitely opens up a lot more options finding an early weapon like that.
Some people call the magical wand the poor man's white sword, but yeah, that's definitely a good weapon. But in spite of having the wand, what do you think the odds are that somebody picks up the book?
It's the book, so between Slim and none, unless it spawns right on top of them.
Yeah, so pretty much no chance. You have a better chance of winning the Powerball tonight, folks. Actually, you definitely have no chance of winning the Powerball because tonight's Thursday, so Saturday night.
Yep, and speaking of candles, a 48 rupee candle there, that is actually very nice to see, because all we have to do is find one moderately charged medium secret, and we're on our way to getting the ability to conflagrate.
And bombs are relatively cheap as well, at only 13 per 4.
Speaking of bombs, they're also cheap when you decide to blast moblins with your magic wand and get them that way.
Yeah, again, that magical wand, very useful to take out those moblins quickly, as ZebGedney finds a secret. It's worth 12, so found one of the small secrets, but it is above the average because the small secret in the regular vanilla Zelda game is worth 10. So we now know that a moblin in the forest holds the white sword, or something like that.
No, that's actually the magical sword, because for the white sword item, it will actually tell you what it is. So that's actually referring to the magical sword.
Ah, yes, very good point. So yeah, if these guys have enough hearts, if ZebGedney has enough hearts, he'll know exactly where he needs to go to try and pick that up. And by the way, in a regular Zelda, vanilla Zelda, you would need 12 hearts to pick up the magical sword. But here in a Zelda randomizer, the deviation is plus or minus 2 hearts. So these players might need anywhere from 10 to 14 hearts in order to pick that up, as CoreZero picks up a small secret for 12.
Zeb, meanwhile, getting really lucky, getting sniped a little bit by a blue Lionel, but managing to kill one and get some bombs off of it, so that's nice.
And ZebGedney has found the location of the wooden sword. Will he take it? He's thinking about it, but he's going to take the blue candle here. And you had mentioned that earlier, TG, that might have been a play given that he already has the wand.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that's the absolute right move to take here, because the only reason you take the wood sword when you find it is so you have a weapon. By finding the wand, it negates the need for a weapon. And at this point, because they also have bombs, the only thing the wand really can't take care of is Wizrogues, but bombs can do that just fine. So the candle is the absolute right pick, because that's going to open up a whole lot of Hyrule. And that's actually going to give Zeb a huge lead, because as you saw, Core decided he wanted to go hug an enemy and die before he could find the candle.
Meanwhile, we have discovered that blue ring's actually a fairly low price, considering that in Vanilla 1 it's 250 rupees. Here we see a 230s price for the blue ring.
Yeah, 230 is actually the cheapest the ring is going to go, because on all of the items in the shops, there is a variance in price of plus or minus 20 rupees.
ZebGedney goes into the level 5 entrance of Vanilla and finds a money-making game, so nothing there. As CoreZero makes his way across the coast, ZebGedney's going to go into the waterfall. No, he's not. He's going to pick up some bombs first, then go into the waterfall. And we find more blue candles and bombs.
Now, the interesting thing here is this is really the last big cave area up in the Lost Hills section. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Zeb after he exits what we know as the White Sword Cave. Well, this answers the question, because it's a take any route.
CoreZero finds another small secret that'll give him 26 rupees. And meanwhile, ZebGedney's going to take a look at all these roads to see where they lead, which is, of course, the basic strategy in Randomizer. You want to know where all these roads take you.
Now, so far over on Zeb's side, so far 2 of these take any roads haven't had great locations. This third one's going to allow him to check this bottom southwest corner. But the good thing about the locations that he did find on those take any roads, it is eliminated 1 power bracelet spot and 1 of the raft spots. So that's actually good information. Now, the take any roads themselves, they are subpar at best, but the information gained from them is really, really good.
Meanwhile, ZebGedney finds a bonus cave and has decided to take a heart, so that gives him 5 containers, which means he has a 2 out of 3 chance of picking up the white sword if he finds it, because in white sword normally you need 5 hearts, but we have a plus or minus 1 deviation for Randomizer, so he may need 6 hearts.
Now, the other interesting thing I want to point out here is that so far we have been almost 8.5 minutes into this, and we haven't found any dungeons yet. So that's actually very, very interesting. Usually at this point we've stumbled across at least one.
ZebGedney picked up a medium-range secret, which is worth 31 rupees, so a little above the average for that. And I saw that CoreZero picked up a large secret, which is well below the 100. I think I saw 78 rupees on his side of the board.
Yeah, so at this point, this is where Zeb has a huge lead right now, because he has had the candle for a while, and that's going to allow him to start this burning. Now, you do have Core now has bought a candle, but still, I still like the position that Zeb is in, because he has at least cleared out all of the northeast section of the Lost Hills, and that does give him a big advantage, knowing he doesn't have to go back there for anything.
And Zeb will avoid paying the penalty there by doing the up and A. Very interesting. CoreZero found a medicine shop, but didn't reveal a letter. Well, why do you think? And I think I saw that ZebGedney did the same thing. Found a potion shop and didn't reveal a letter. Why do you think that these players wouldn't show the letter at this time?
2 reasons. One, rupees at this point in the game are going to be at a premium, especially if they're looking to purchase something such as the blue ring or cheap bait or arrows. Number 2, and probably more importantly in a time attack setting such as a race, by showing the letter, you reveal the text in the potion cave. And every time you enter a potion cave from then on, it will always show the text and will always eat through time. So not showing that until the last possible minute is probably the thing you're going to be seeing here.
That's a very good strategy indeed. We're now 10.5 minutes into the race, and still neither of these players have found a level yet. This might be turning into a John Brown seed. And what I mean by a John Brown seed is that it means it's a very trolly seed. And I'm not referring to the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver by the same name. What I mean by a John Brown seed is if you've ever heard of the song "I Shot the Sheriff" by either Bob Marley, and speaking of that, I'll get back to that in a moment. Meanwhile, we have our first dungeon find. ZebGedney has found one of the levels, and a heart container immediately. They'll give him 6.
This feels like a level 1.
If that's the case, that is a very good find, because you want to find the earlier levels sooner, because that, especially level 1, because level 1 has 2 items.
Yeah, the only problem there is he's going to have to use bombs to kill that Wizrobe and Like room, and without having a sword, that's going to be a little bit difficult. And because he's key blocked, opting to not do that.
Ooh, yeah, so yeah. Back to what I was mentioning about a John Brown seed. John Brown seed, in the song "I Shot the Sheriff" goes, "Sheriff John Brown always hated me. For what? I don't know. Every time that I plant a seed, he said, kill it before it grows." Well, if this keeps getting any more trollier, these contestants will probably wish that they could kill this seed. And look at this. CoreZero has found the ladder.
That's a huge, huge early find. Ladder's going to make it so that no dungeon can sit there and troll him. He can actually access most of what he's going to need now. So finding the early ladder is absolutely huge, and that's the item here in 5, so that's also very, very nice.
Meanwhile, ZebGedney has found another dungeon, but again, he's key blocked.
And so there's no way to tell what the dungeon that Zeb just found was without giving it a more thorough look. There are plenty of options that it could be. But meanwhile, we do have Core making his way through the rest of 5 here. And after finding the ladder, that's a huge boon to begin with.
What you just saw there, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's one of the community hints. So anytime you have a Zelda randomizer, there's a 50-50 chance that the normal hint that the old man would normally give you is actually just a troll hint, a community hint. And that's what Core got right there.
Yeah, so when it comes to those, any of the hints you'll see from the shops in the overworld, they're all going to be community hints because it's just no fun to have things just buy something, will you? And in the dungeons, there is a 50%, and also the pay hints, there's a 50% chance of community hint and a 50% chance of a actual helpful hint. Now, meanwhile, I do want to point out over on Zeb's side that this pink Tingle Brother, I forget the name I was told, blends in nicely with the Bubble Pop Pink dungeon, so that's going to be quite interesting.
Or as some people call it, the Pepto-Bismol dungeons.
Yes, the voices in my head are telling me that the pink Tingle Brother is Ankle.
It's always nice to find free bombs without having to defeat any enemies with all the doors opening. And look what we have here. It's the power bracelet for ZebGedney.
That confirms he's in level 2, because 2 and 1 are the only 2 dungeons that have items in the ground, and he just gets the map right after to finish the confirmation.
Yep, meanwhile, we have our first Triforce pickup. CoreZero has got a 1 Triforce lead now.
Yeah, but getting the Triforce, that's not what's really putting him in the lead. The huge lead that he has is the fact that he has the ladder.
Exactly. ZebGedney's got a 2-headed Gleeok to deal with right now, which produces a 5 rupee. He's got 1 key left, and he's going to bomb his way up to find some wall masters.
Yeah, that's the one thing about level 2, is that unless you have an old man room, you can always bomb into the next room you want to go to.
CoreZero picked up a bonus cave, and he went ahead and decided to take the heart container, giving him 4. Zeb has 7 hearts.
Yeah, the one thing about having these 7 hearts there is that guarantees Zeb the white sword if he finds it. And speaking of guaranteeing finding things, picking up the compass there is going to guarantee him the Triforce location.
Yep, so that should even up the scoreboard once he takes care of these ropes. CoreZero going into Vanilla 6, but that is a penalty door repair charge, so that'll cost him some of his rupees. And there we see ZebGedney picking up the Triforce to even up the score in the Triforce department. CoreZero heading for Vanilla Magical Sword, and that's also a penalty door repair charge, so that's going to cost him even more of his rupees. He's down to 100. Zeb gaining another 31 rupees, so that will give him 115. And another level for Zeb. Look at that, a free Triforce, but he's got to get through some Blue Land Molas first.
And also on the dungeons, we have Core has also found one here. This pastel bright blue color, and from the looks of the starting location, this looks and feels like a level 3.
And look at that, a free heart just like that. That's what was that, the third dungeon already where we've seen an item just right there on the ground where you can pick up. We've had 2 heart containers and a Triforce, so far these dungeons in terms of that aspect have been very generous.
Speaking of a generous Triforce, look at that next room.
Wow. Can you believe this? So these guys in the first 11 minutes or so can't find a single level. Now they're finding things like crazy.
And I definitely agree with what Core here is doing, avoiding the Triforce at all costs, opting to kill the Darkness to explore further into the dungeon, because he's not going to have to re-kill the Darkness to get the Triforce, and finding the item in 3 here is going to be fairly good and fairly easy because 3 is one of the shorter dungeons.
Zeb finds another small secret. He's got 132 rupees. He's opting not to buy the arrows. I'm assuming he's saving up to perhaps buy a blue ring. And he finds a big secret, which is worth 76 rupees. Again, that's well below the 100 average, but that does take him to 208 rupees.
Yep, now the big thing coming up over on Zeb's side of the screen is we are about to get to know what the ladder coast item is going to be right as soon as we go into this coast cave. Or maybe not, because it's a dungeon.
Well,
I hate when they do that to me.
Looks like the suspense is going to be killing us both.
This feels like level 8 on Zeb's side, just because of the location we started at and seeing a Gliok room, and yeah. Oh, it could be it is a 6 too. Nope, I lied. It had the setup for either 6 or 8, and it looks like it's 6.
Speaking of setups, a lot of blue dark nuts in that room. He's going to avoid them for the time being. Oh, but look at this. We've got a Goma blocking his way. So he's going to go back, and he's going to try and take out these blue dark nuts.
Wait a second. That was Goma in a Goma room. Fred!
Now do we blame Fred for this, or do we still blame you, TG?
I'll let people blame who they want. I just have broad shoulders.
Okay.
But for those of you wondering why we have Zeb taking the time to go through and kill all of these darkness in this room, this is one of the 3 staircase rooms that you have in level 6. So by killing them, he's hoping to find the item and hoping that the item is worth his time. Now, we know he's probably hoping to find the ladder or silver arrows. We know it can't be the ladder, so if it's me, I'm hoping to find either the silver arrows or a red ring after dealing with all of that trouble in Blue Darknut Land.
He's plotting his shots very carefully, but he's down to just 1 heart, so he really needs to be careful, or he's going to be done for this attempt.
But he's going to opt to use the cheese the dark nuts method by block clipping into the block, and as long as he doesn't move out of it, they can't actually hit him, and he can just snipe away as they walk by him.
Wow, what a very clever strategy that is, TG. I mean, yeah, any way you can to cheese your enemies, and he finds a heart, but he does pick it up. Oh, but look at this.
Yeah.
CoreZero has the red ring. That means his damage is going to be reduced to 1/4. That is going to be very helpful throughout the rest of his mission. Oh, but that was not the item room. ZebGedney took care of the blue dark nuts and only finds a corridor leading to another part of the dungeon.
But I definitely agree with him at this point. You went through all the trouble of killing the blue darkness, you might as well take the stairs you created.
Absolutely, and hopefully he finds the item and the Triforce there. Meanwhile, CoreZero has picked up the Triforce. That'll give him his second one, and that'll tie up the score in that category.
Yeah, but so far the two dungeons that Core has found have contained two very, very strong items in the ladder and the red ring. So that is a huge, huge advantage for him.
And no such luck. Those blocks will not push, so that is not where the item is either.
Yeah, and actually we knew that going into this room because in level 6, there's a single block room, a double block room, and a corridor stair. And because the single block room led to the double block, we can know for a fact that the double block, any other double block rooms in 6 will not be a staircase.
Yep, that's why it's very important to know your Zelda maps. And he finds a key. Keys have been at a premium right now. These contestants haven't picked up keys. Well, at least ZebGedney's not picked up many keys. Core's got 6, which is a fair amount to have.
Yeah, Core's also found yet another dungeon. There seems to be a lot over in the Dead Woods side of things here.
And the thing about these two players is that they have found totally different dungeons as well. One's on one side of the map with dungeons and one's on the other side. Yeah, we could see the map. Yeah, most of the dungeons are in the middle to southern portion of the Hyrule map.
And based on this, it looks as if we have got CoreZero here in level 4. Yep, and that is confirmed there by that, because 4 is actually one of those easier dungeons, because 4 only has 2 rooms that have items that won't be lying out on the ground. So the first one, of course, there is
and
that,
ZebGedney finds
the
inferior
there's
model,
the other one.
and he is going to decline it. So score 1 for you.
Smart man, finding the inferior model there. And you also have Core, who found a quick Triforce there in level 4, and he's going to be moving back in to find the item.
And it looks like we've got some confirmation that Lobsang has defeated Dragon Darch in the other match that was going on simultaneously. So Lobsang moving on to the next round of the winner's bracket.
And based on seeds, that is an upset. And, ooh, that's disappointing. We have you bet you like to have more bombs, guy. And unfortunately, more price, less bombs.
Oh, yeah, that's too bad because, yeah, 120 is well above the average because it normally costs 100 for the bomb upgrade. He's got 10 bombs. The number of bombs you can get from a bomb upgrade range for anywhere from 2 to 6. And unfortunately, he took a chance and it burned him because he only gets 2 more bombs.
Yeah, but this is an interesting thing to note. If you take a look over on CoreZero's side of the stream, level 4, the second room he walked into here actually had a river in it. So 4 is ladder blocked. And speaking of 4, I can confirm now because there's only 2 of these double block rooms here in 4, and he's passed through one already and didn't have it. So this second room there, with the Goma in it, that is going to contain the item. Now, because there is a Goma blocking it, we can guarantee one thing: the bow is not in level 4.
Which means he'll need the arrows of some sort in order to get that item. Now, the question is the item hiding behind that Goma a key item that these players are going to need?
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting because we've definitely seen several times in this tournament where there's been a key item, specifically silver arrows, hiding deep in a random dungeon, and people have forgot them. And that has definitely caused some quote-unquote upsets here in the tournament. Now, 4 is an easy enough dungeon to go back into, but it's still a possibility.
CoreZero finds another bonus cave and picks up another heart, so he's got 6. So that'll guarantee him a pickup of the white sword if he can find it. And yeah, exactly what you were talking about. Yeah, we had 2 races, or actually we had 1 race end like that. It was Cantaloupe Me who ended up losing a race because he took a chance on the fact that the silver arrows would be in stage 9 because he had skipped most of a tougher level and he ended up paying the price for it.
Yeah, and I actually saw the same thing last night in a race where the silver arrows were in 5, and both races actually nearly full cleared 5, and I say nearly because it was all but 1 room in 5, and that room happened to contain the item, and that item happened to be the silver arrows. We had one runner go back and get in them before 9, and the second runner decided, I'm going to go explore 9. I bet you know how that ended.
Yep, didn't end well.
Now, interesting context there with the information or the line we're getting from the old man on the Take Any roads, accusing Link of wearing green clothes. Now, that's interesting because Link is currently wearing red clothes, and on the other side, Link was wearing, or Tingle, or Ankle, was wearing pink clothes. And speaking of Ankle, he does in fact acquire the compass, so that means he is going to know where he has to go here in level 6. The only problem is, for Zeb, is he's going to have to kill that room full of blue dark nuts again.
Yeah, which is a pity because all this time he spent it there, and not knowing what's going on here is that Core is continuing to find key items and increasing his lead. Tell you what's amazing, we're now 26 minutes into the race and neither one of them have a sword.
Yeah, that's crazy. So apparently swordless was clicked on accident. It's not actually, it's just a joke. They found a sword, they just took the candle.
Place your bets, folks. Let's find out how long is it going to be until either one of them picks up a sword. Well, meanwhile, Zeb just got bodied by blue darknuts again, so he's going to have to try it again or go somewhere else.
Meanwhile, I believe we have got Core into what we determined was level 1 earlier with the heart container lying right out on the floor. And he does have the keys to progress. And look at that, the bow is the ladder item. So that is going to put Core in a huge advantage once he gets over there, because he does have the ladder to go and acquire that.
Wow, that's a fantastic item. So yeah, you don't have to worry about traversing dungeons. You just pick up that ladder and you've got yourself a bow. And that is really going to give more of an advantage to Core. Provided, of course, he does explore that part of Hyrule.
Uh-oh, Lizzie, don't look. Don't look.
Da, 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 da. The book has been abandoned. I guess Link does not want to do his homework tonight. He goes back. Was that to troll Liz? You think he just went backwards and then forwards again? No, I think was it to change the color of the Wiz robes?
It might have been to utilize these to change the spawn in the room, because every room of spawns is going to have a primary spawn, and every time the room spawns, it has to have at least one of the primary spawn in there. So that's a trick you'll definitely see people use. Although because he bombed up and didn't opt to kill anything, I think that was more a troll, but who knows at this point.
That's something we might have to ask. So, that is where the magical sword is. It is behind Vanilla Dungeon 2. As ZebGedney discovered that just a moment ago.
So that room over there where you would normally find Aquamentus awaiting you in level 1 is Big Dogger blocked. But the good thing is, because we have the compass, we now know we don't have to worry about that. And Zeb opting for some hints and letting us know that Aquamentus awaits with the book, which we did know because we saw it over on Core's side.
Yep, so Zeb will undoubtedly make Lizzie disappointed, just like Core did, I would imagine.
Yep, and the interesting thing here is you saw Zeb save before he came over here, because what he's doing is he's going to take all 3 of these hints, Gilliac Lurks with the recorder, so we now know that the item in level 4 is the recorder.
Yeah, I saw Rick implement that strategy in his race. He did the same thing. He had a lot of money, and he did the same thing, so he would know what the hints were without spending a single rupee.
Now, is that cheating the infrastructure of Hyrule? Absolutely. Do we care? Absolutely not.
And we get a nice little He-Man reference there with By the Power of Grayskull on Core's side.
And unfortunately for Core, there was only one of the 17 rooms left in level 1 that he hasn't explored. And of course, that's going to be the item room.
Yep, and Core just picked up his 4th Triforce. You were mentioning that he's not discovered one room, and that's the one room that has the item. You know why that one room has the item, TG? Because the game knows. It's just the nature of how a Zelda randomizer works.
The game absolutely knows. Yeah, Zeb, looked like he was going to go down, but opts to take a quick stop at the fairy cave, or the fairy fountain. I don't blame him, because you're right here, you might as well get the free refill.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you never know what's going to be waiting. And there's the raft for Core.
Now, the interesting thing about the raft is that we know it's only going to be required to check one spot, because one of the take any roads actually led to the raft spot that is level 4. So at this point, once Core gets around to the eastern half of Hyrule on the eastern side, he can use that to check the one raft spot.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see what's behind there. We haven't found the white sword, so it'll be very interesting if the white sword does happen to be behind the raft location, because, again, Zeb opted to take the candle, and if he doesn't have the raft, that means he's not going to have a sword for a long, long time.
Yep, and notice to be pointed out that Core actually died before he got up to the northeast, so he actually hasn't seen the wood sword cave yet.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, he does have the candle, so if he were to find that cave, he would be able to pick up the wooden sword at that point.
Yeah, so this is the dungeon that Zeb found earlier that he was key blocked out of. Now we get a chance to take a look, see what we got in here.
Well, not an item, but it's a free 5 rupee this time around. Again, it's the first room they see, they find a free item just lying there.
Now we have got a diamond staircase here in this dungeon that we have found, and it's going to lead us to an item which is a heart container.
Yeah, that's right. One of the items that could be in a dungeon actually could be a heart container, because normally in vanilla Zelda, the item that you need to get with the ladder to cross the ocean in is a heart container. But here in a randomizer, it can be a heart container, but it could also be a regular item as well. So that means one of the regular items in a dungeon is replaced by another heart container. So one dungeon is going to have 2 heart containers.
And meanwhile, we have found the ladder over on Zeb's side, so we now know he is in 5, and getting the quick little visible fist pump in his camera. Very happy to find that.
Absolutely. That's an item he most desperately needed. And again, he knows the location of the bow, so I would imagine that if he's in that part of the area, he's going to pick up that bow right away.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with first. Let's finish what we came here to do, and let's find the shiny piece of triangle. And speaking of finding shiny pieces of triangle, because the game is going to give me awesome segues like that, over in Dungeon 8, which is where Core is, he has found the compass.
And he finds the map to go with it to confirm that this is indeed level 8, as ZebGedney picks up his 3rd Triforce.
And he, unfortunately, is nowhere near where that ladder is going to be. However, he does have the option to world wrap if he wants to from this general area. Now, Jam, if you haven't been paying attention to us, level 8 that we found is going to be to the southeast of level 1.
And Zeb picks up another bonus cave and another heart, giving him 8. They both have 8 hearts on their side of the board. Also, Zeb has the maximum number of rupees that you can carry, 255 rupees. So if he wanted to, he could buy that blue ring. But again, I don't think he's anywhere near that shop unless there's a blue ring shop coming up. Well, he's going to bypass those rupees. I mean, knowing he's at 255, there's no use in picking it up. Core rather quickly dispatches of that Leok. Just a key, though.
Hey, the way this seed's going, keys are a precious commodity.
I totally agree, TG, because we don't know where the magical key is. There's a chance we might find that as a level 9 item, and I think we've seen that in several seeds as of late. In fact, if I remember correctly, TG, I believe the magical key was the item in level 9 in the race Jay Coper lost.
I cannot confirm nor deny that. I wasn't up at stupid o'clock in the morning.
I wasn't either, but I had some information.
And then for those of you who have been currently following along at home, we have the wand as the Armos item, the bow as the coast ladder item, the book and the raft were in level 1, the power bracelet was in level 2. The red ring was in level 3. We know the recorder is in level 4 based on a hit that we received. The ladder was in level 5. The inferior model was in level 6. And a heart container is in level 8. We still don't know the items in 7, the second item in 8, and the 2 items in 9.
Meanwhile, Core picked up another heart container that'll give him 9. One more heart, and he would have a shot at picking up the magical sword. Manages to skirt by the manhandler and bombs his way through. He's trying to find that second item before he goes after that Triforce.
You also have got Zeb over in what we know is level 4 because we've seen it already.
Indeed. Just a bunch of Stalfos in that room, so he's going to go and try for the eastern path to see if perhaps our item is there, but it is not there. Instead, all we have is a Goma, so he's going to make the turnabout. Well, if they're not Stalfos, what are they called?
There were Stalfos on level 4.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one I was looking. So, will he buy the 120? Oh, he does buy the 120 bombs, and he's going to be disappointed to find out he's only going to increase his complement by 2. So, no blue ring for him.
Yep. So, Zeb going to be a little bit upset here that he's going to kill this room full of Gorias here in level 4, and unfortunately not going to get a drop out of it. We know that the recorder in here is Goma blocked. Meanwhile, over in level 8, Core still having all kinds of fun with Gorias and everything. And let's take a look and see where the Triforce is. And the Triforce is in the desert.
Yep, but he's got to defeat the manhandler first. Or as some people like to call him, Troll Handler. But no problem for CoreZero there as he picks up his 5th Triforce piece.
Right now, I just call him dead.
Words of wisdom from TGE, words of wisdom. Meanwhile, Core goes back into level 8 because he wants to find where that final item is that he still hasn't picked up. And this could be a full clear of 8 because seems like he's looked all over the place, but no luck.
Yep, and I do want to point out here, it has been brought up in the chat, but we are 38.5 minutes in, and neither runner has a sword currently, so this seed is by far J. Coper approved.
Absolutely right. Yeah, and there's the Triforce for Zeb. That'll give him 4.
We have also found the second item in 8, which is the red ring. Or, excuse me, red candle. Right color, wrong item.
Yes, because he's already got the red ring, so how can he possibly pick up the red ring twice? If he picks up the red ring twice, does that mean his damage is reduced to 1/16th?
Well, apparently he liked it so much he put 2 rings on it.
Why not? There's nothing wrong with having multiple rings, especially if you're an athlete. But yeah, the red candle is an item you want to have early on in a Zelda randomizer, but the later it is in a seed, the less valuable the red candle becomes.
So now we have Zeb has found level 3, which we know does in fact contain the red ring I was talking about earlier. So he is going to find that and be pleasantly surprised. Now, because we have found the red candle there in 8, there are now only 3 items remaining that we do not know the location of. The Lord Banana himself, the magical key, and the all-important silver arrows.
Wouldn't it be something if both the silver arrows and the magical key were in level 9? You have the 2 most important items, and they're in the hardest level. However, TG, I got a bad feeling. I'm just going to place a little bet in my head. I have a horrible feeling Lord Banana's a 9.
That's just par for the course when it comes to every time I have done a call. I've only seen Lord Banana get grabbed once. But, it is what it is.
The seeds must know you're on commentary to know that Lord Banana is going to be placed in such inconvenient locations that there's almost 0 chance that the competitors are going to pick it up.
And meanwhile, we do know that the crazy Blue Land Molas are guarding that Triforce, and Core is opting to not take the Triforce and run and do a little bit more exploration.
I'm going to be looking for that item himself first, as he deals with some rejected pancakes from IHOP. Those pancakes, or likes as the proper term is, no problem there for Core. There's the compass, but it's a useless item at that point. He knows where the Triforce is, does Core.
Yeah, and again, this is very interesting over on Core's side of the screen, because he is definitely looking for the item here, but considering this is a Wizrobe dungeon, it's level 7, and he doesn't have a sword, that's ballsy.
Not to mention the fact that that level 7 is 33 rooms of pure torture, especially now that the fact that you just said we've got Wizrobes and likes all over the place. That should make it pretty fun.
And now that Zeb has acquired the red ring in 3, he's just going to walk in, grab the Triforce, and slip out before any of the Darknuts can sink their swords into him.
I'll tell you what, though, if there's any good news regarding the fact that neither player has a sword, it's that both do have the red ring.
Unfortunately, Core discovering that you can only stab the Dodongos that have been stunned with smoke with the actual sword, the wand doesn't count.
That's a little bit too bad, but hey, I guess the Dodongos were prepared for that attack, yet they weren't prepared for swords. Meanwhile, oh, look at this. It's the magical key, and that means, unfortunately, Lord Banana's in level 9.
Yes, but so are the silver arrows, which is going to make this an interesting race.
Yes, indeed, and this is where what I told you comes into play, that 9's going to be the great equalizer. No lead is going to be safe, particularly if you take the wrong turn to Albuquerque and don't find the silver arrows. Of course, the good news for Core is he no longer has to worry about being ladder blocked. And now, given what we know, and given the fact that Zeb opted not to go further into level 7, this is definitely going to put Zeb at an even further disadvantage.
Yes, but the one thing I do want to point out there is the fact that he managed to find the magical key in 7 is actually a very, very big boon for Core, because the fact that he went all through 7 and he did so by basically having blatant disregard for his key count, he was rewarded for what one would probably consider improper key management. So the fact that it was the magical key, he is extremely lucky, in fact.
Yeah, sometimes those risks pay off. We saw that a few of the risks didn't pay off, but it looks like this risk for CoreZero paid off in spades tremendously.
But now we do have Zeb going back to the coast and acquiring the bow, so that is at least giving him another option to defeat enemies. We still don't have a pointy stick, which at some point a pointy stick is going to be needed because that's the only way to kill Ganon.
Absolutely right. Can you imagine trying to kill Ganon? Can't even kill Zelda without a sword, which is a little bit sad, but hey, that's the way it goes. You got to have a sword in order to defeat Ganon. We do not know where that white sword is. I'm telling you, I'll bet anything it's where that raft area is. But remember, Core had died before he was able to get to that area. So again, we have no idea what's there, if anything.
No, Zeb, meanwhile, opting to go back into 6 now that he is much more well-equipped to deal with the blue Darknut rooms.
And that Core, meanwhile, picks up his 7th Triforce piece. That means he's now 1 Triforce piece away from going into level 9. But again, he needs a sword. So hearts are going to be a factor. I can't believe I'm saying this. Heart containers are going to be a factor because if he can't find the white sword, he's going to have to find the magical sword. And we don't know how many hearts that requires at this time.
We do know where the magical sword is located. None of our players have enough hearts to get it, unfortunately. We have no idea where we are going to find the white sword, however.
And now we have discovered what the price of buying potions are. It's 49 for a red and 70 for a blue, meaning the red potion, or I'm sorry, a 49 for a blue potion, 70 for a red potion. That means it is a better deal to buy the red potion for 70. However, Core did not have enough money, so opting to get just the blue potion at this time.
But now we are going into the final dungeon that Core is going to have to be taken care of here, which is 6. Actually, both runners are in 6 at the same time. However, Zeb is going to be picking up his Triforce and leaving just at the time where Core is entering.
Yep. So that'll put him within 1, but that is not going to last very long, as Core, I'm sure, is going to make his way to that Triforce very quickly. So it's all going to come down to the sword management now.
So the interesting thing about this is because it's going to basically be the first one to get a sword is going to have a huge advantage. We haven't seen a whole lot of Death Mounted. So if you're desperately looking for a sword, or desperately seeking sword as it were, is Death Mountain the place you go right now?
Yeah, if they haven't explored Death Mountain and they still haven't found a sword, I mean, you might as well give it a shot. I mean, you need a sword in order to defeat Ganon. I mean, no sword, no win.
Yeah, this is amazing because we are almost 47 minutes into the seed. We've got 6 and 7 Triforces respectively, and 0 swords found.
Well, it looks like Zeb is going back to a previous level to try and find an item that he had missed.
Because he knows exactly where the item here in 4 is. It's Goma block, so he's going to go back in with the arrows that he has and kill the Goma, which is interesting because we still haven't found level 9, so there is the potential that level 9 could be recorder blocked under the lake.
Wow. Very interesting possibility. And now Core picks up his 10th heart, so that is enough potentially to get the magical sword if somebody dares to try and pick it up. But I don't think Core knows the location of the magical sword. I think only Geb knows.
Yeah, I believe that Zeb did find it. We know it's at the location where Vanilla level 2 is located. But now that Zeb has got the recorder out of 4, he is going to head out, and he has plenty of options at his disposal at this point. Now, if I'm Zeb, we saw him go into level 1 earlier. He was key blocked out of it, so at this point, he would probably be making a good idea for him to go back into 1.
And he's got plenty of keys to do so, so I would imagine that would be the best strategy at this point. But we'll see where he goes. He's going to avoid the raft location for now. The rafting spot, yep. And he is going to go back to level 1, as you had speculated, to try and get those items. And the Triforce as well.
Yep. And that's interesting because he has to avoid the raft spot because he knows he doesn't have the raft, but he also knows that the raft spot at 4 is in fact a take any road.
There's the book, which he declined, so 0 for 2 on the book. Zeb decides, nah.
Then manages to be like, see, the Wizard's like, nope, I'm out of here. And he now is going to go into the left room, which we know contains the raft, because that's the last room that we saw Core check when he was in here.
I tell you what, for a moment, I thought Zeb was going to do the exact same thing that Core did and just go back just to troll Lizzie there, but no, he decided to go back because he didn't want no part of those whiz robes.
However, now we have over on Core's side, he has also found the item here in 6, And let's see if he makes the correct decision here. And he does, in fact, make the correct decision. So I am going to be on talking terms with both of these runners when it comes time for the interview.
That sounds good to me. So, yep, 0 for 2 in the inferior model department. Of course, how can Lord Banana live his life knowing that he's got to be with such an inferior model?
And now we have the hint over there on Core's side that confirms we are going to have to go take a look at Death Mountain, because on Death Mountain is an entrance to death.
Well, I love the redundancy of that sentence. And see, you have the word death in there twice. So, yeah, now we do know where the location of level 9 is. It's somewhere near Death Mountain.
So yeah, this is a very interesting seed. For those of you who may just be joining us, here is the quick and dirty summary of what we are seeing. The Armos item was a wand, so the runners got that, and then when they both found, or one of them found the wood sword cave, opted to take a candle, the other one bought a candle and did not find the wood sword cave. So you do have to keep in mind that there is a potential for Core to still have the wood sword. In addition to that, the bow is the latter item, as you can just see. The items that we have found are as follows: book and raft in 1, power bracelet in 2, red ring in 3, recorder in 4, ladder in 5, inferior model in 6, magical key in 7, red candle and heart container in 8, which confirms that the silver arrows and Lord Banana are in 9. The big thing again is if neither runner, 51 minutes in, has a sword.
Meanwhile, CoreZero picked up the last Triforce piece, so he's now eligible to go into level 9. But again, as you said, neither of these players have a sword. ZebGedney picked up his 7th Triforce piece.
But this is interesting considering the area of the forest that we have CoreZero in. We know that this is where the magic sword is located if he goes into 2. The problem is he's only had a 20% chance of picking it up right now.
Yeah, so he's definitely in a predicament. Again, both of these races are in a predicament as Zeb goes into the level 8 dungeon. And Core is now on his way to the magical sword location of Vanilla 2. Let's see if he has enough hearts to pick it up. But alas, he does not have enough hearts, so we know at least 11 hearts are required to pick up magical sword for this seed.
And we know that Zeb is going to find the heart container here, which he's upset about that it's not the silver arrows, but at least it's, you know, better than the inferior model, for example. But the thing he's looking for at this point literally is a sharp stick in the eye, because they both need a sword.
Absolutely. And now he knows that he now has enough hearts to try for the magical sword if he wanted to, but of course we now know that 10 hearts isn't going to be enough.
At this point, I'm just hoping that the level 9 is up in the depths of Death Mountain, which we know it is, and right next door is the white sword, just saying, "Hey, look, I can help you kill things! You've been looking for me all race!"
Absolutely. And there's the red candle, which Zeb will pick up.
I actually like that call a lot here because he still doesn't have a sword, so it's going to allow him to get in a little bit closer combat and just, you know, spam fire. So I do like the call here without having a sword of picking up the red candle.
Absolutely. Yeah, because as we saw, Core decided not to pick up the red candle, so Zeb will have a little bit of an advantage in the offense department.
And meanwhile, you do have Core now getting the hint telling him where the magical sword is, now that he's already located it.
Of course, old news. What are you going to do? That's part of the randomizer. The game knows. Well, he finds another heart, so that'll get him one step closer, perhaps, to the magical sword. And it kind of makes you wonder, is he going to go back to the magical sword location, or is he going to continue to explore?
At this point, I would have kept exploring up in the northeast real quick, but he's on off to go back and pick up the magical sword, or attempt to pick up the magical sword. I can definitely see where he's coming from, but I would have just finished up in the northeast first.
Yeah, because obviously he does not know where his opponent's progress is at this time. And now 11 hearts for ZebGedney as he picked up that heart container, so both tied there. And now he's going to go back into Vanilla 2 to see if he can pick up the magical sword. Can he do it? Yes, he can!
All right, so that is 55 minutes in exactly, and we have our first sword of the match, and it is a doozy. It's the magical sword. That's going to increase the damage output because the magical sword, like these silver arrows, is going to do 4 hit points worth of damage.
Which means it'll only take him 4 hits to defeat Ganon. So very, very nice find, and a very lucky thing that he was able to pick that up, knowing that you only need 11 hearts, and if ZebGedney goes the same way, he's going to be happy to discover the same thing.
Yep, and Zeb is definitely going to go take a look at this now because he made his way into 8 with only 9 hearts and came out with 11, so he's also going to go there because he knows exactly where it is, and he is also going to be pleasantly surprised to acquire the magical sword as well.
Kind of makes you wonder. I wonder if 55 minutes, clearly the longest time it's taken for anybody to find a sword in this randomizer tournament, and I doubt that record is going to be broken anytime soon. And yep, he is heading for Vanilla 2, and he's going to be pleased to discover that his 11 hearts are in fact enough to pick up the magical sword. We've got ourselves a race. Well, the difference between the sword pickups was about 1 minute and 10 seconds between the two players, so I guess both of them are now going to try and find level 9. And again, it's going to determine who makes the right decisions, who makes the right turns, and who can find those silver arrows first.
Of course, it's also a matter of who finds level 9 first.
Exactly. Nobody's found level 9 yet, and no luck so far for Core, and Geb is completely in the wrong part of the map, and now he's going to show the letter and discovered that 70 hearts, or 70 rupees, is the price of the red potion, which he decides to buy.
So we do know that Spectacle Rock is not the answer. Ooh! Oh no!
He just got soft locked! Oh!
Yeah. So that's a huge advantage for Zeb. Now, the reason that works is the way screen scrolling in the game works is if you screen scroll from right to left, it doesn't matter what the obstructions are, you are perfectly fine. However, if you screen scroll from left to right, you have to make sure there are no obstructions in your way, because if you end up in an obstruction, you will happen exactly what you saw. You will get soft locked, which means you have to up an A and go back to where you were.
That could be a very costly mistake on Core's part. But I'm going to tell you something. I know everything about soft locks because in the speedrunning game that I run, at Castlevania for DOS, you can soft lock if you defeat your enemies and there's too many sprites on the screen. So different version of a soft lock, but a soft lock nonetheless. Bad break there for Core.
Zeb, meanwhile, trying to figure out where he went wrong and trying to find where he's supposed to be going.
Did Zeb get that hint? I don't think Zeb got the hint of where the entrance to Mount Death is, though.
I don't believe he did, but if he has any sort of tracking system, he will know that the only place he hasn't checked is Death Mountain. Now, the only problem with that is there's a lot of caves in Death Mountain.
Absolutely right. A lot of caves to bomb. It could be anywhere at this point. That's right, Paratrooper. I speedrun Castlevania for DOS, and I had a new world record a couple nights ago, 14 minutes and 10 seconds, but that's another story for another stream.
Yep. And I do like what Zeb is doing here because he didn't get the hint for 9, so he was right in the area. So checking out 7 was definitely the correct call there on Zeb's side.
And he picked up some big money in the process as well, so hey, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, now he's gone ahead with the whistle, and now he's getting a little bit warmer if he decides to go in this route. They're both around the same part, and now, yeah, they're pretty much in the same part of the map.
Yeah, so this is very, very interesting because at this point, they're both going to be in at the same time. So it's a matter of who's going to get trolled in 8, who isn't going to get trolled in 9. And speaking of 9, we do have it.
Core has found level 9, so advantage him. Zeb, meanwhile, finds a passage. He's going to find even more money. And now, Core, it's all up to Core if he can find the silver arrows, Ganon, and Zelda quickly.
Yep, so Zeb is now going to find level 9 as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a race.
Yep.
The advantage here I would have to give to Core for one very, very particular reason. The letter A next to his key count.
Yes, only 5 keys for for Zeb rather, and that is going to be a big time factor because again, we saw this be a factor with Jay Coper in the race that he lost. So Keep that in mind, folks. We got a real nail biter.
Yep, so at this point, we do know that the only way to go here is left. So this isn't going to be one of those situations where one goes one path and one goes the other to start with, because there is only one path to go. Now, here's everybody's favorite enemy in level 9, Patra!
Yes, indeed. And now the monster who's going to guide us through the next 30 minutes of level 9, Petra Wayne! Oh, and look at this. He finds Lord Banana and passes it up.
I just want to point out that at this point, I understand not taking Lord Banana, but look at the respect that Ganon has for Lord Banana, sending Patra, his most loyal minion, to guard him.
Unbelievable. And from one Patra to another Patra. But this Patra's going to go
We all know, because ain't no party like a Patra party, because a Patra party don't stop.
I love it, yes. Yes, indeed. Totally with you there, TGE. So he does decide to kill off that Patra and goes back to where the other Patra was. I wonder if he's going to try and... No, he's just going to go back and forth. Now, what was the purpose of that, you think?
I think he got himself turned around.
Oh, okay. Okay, now he's going back to where the other Patra is, and is not going to kill... Yep, he's going to go back the way he came, it looks like.
Oh! Zeb found Ganon, but doesn't have the arrows!
Oh! How about that? Well, that is very key, though. He knows one piece of information that Core doesn't know, so if he can find the silver arrows fast, this could turn level 9 around. Remember what I told you? Level 9 is the great equalizer, but again, these two are close going into this, so, I mean, it's pretty much who's getting lucky. And so far, Zeb is winning that battle, but anything can happen. A lot of level 9 left.
Actually, no, that actually is a very good point. Now that I see that, Core actually went back into that empty room without Patra to listen for Ganon. So Core also knows where Ganon is located.
Perfect. So, yep, we got ourselves pretty much a tie ball game. It's all going to come down to who can find the silver arrows and the way to Zelda. And meanwhile, Zeb finds Lord Banana, and he too is going to decline it.
Oh, he gnomes on the screen! Oh my god, that was the best!
Whoa.
That's the absolute best!
And with a big smile and grin on Zeb's face, TGE. You wanna rest for a little bit while that sinks in? I'm sorry you had to see that, but
no, that was amazing! Bravo! Bravo!
TGE, I will say this, TGE. You're being a much better sport about this than I probably would have been in, because I probably would have been raging. So, good on you, my friend. Meanwhile, we've got a race to finish. We got a race to finish, though, and it's all going to come down again. Who is going to find the key items first? Yeah, that's now 2 big trolls that we've seen in Randomizer so far. Fap, of course, doing the stabbing of the book on Lizzie, and then what we just saw moments ago regarding Lord Banana. To think, though, that we waited until level 9, because I tell you what, well worth the wait, wasn't it?
That was awesome. I'm literally all hyped up now at this point. This is by far, man, even before that, the best race of the tournament. Now we have, a scene where I'm screaming my head off. That's great.
I'll tell you one thing, it's only appropriate that both of them found Lord Banana before the silver arrows. I mean, that, again, like I said, the game knows. So now, CoreZero finds his way for some more pancakes. And remember, if that shutter does not open, we know we found Zelda. But the shutter does open, so Zelda's not there. Core wanting no part of that room, so he's going to make a detour to the west. And we've got the traditional breakfast room items in here. Pushes the block. Let's see if the silver arrows are there. If it's just another passage, it's just another passageway, which he will take.
So Zeb, meanwhile, attempting to ladder clip onto the T, and that is so he can bomb downwards and see if there is any way to get there.
Yeah, that is a very difficult ladder clip, and I think it's even more difficult if you have the magical shield. But he finally gets through it, so he's gonna bomb, and will he find a passage? Yes, he does. Oh, it looks like the knockback pushed him backwards. Yes, indeed.
Or having the magic sword in here is definitely a huge boom because it means they only have to worry about 3 hits on the wizards. And speaking of that,
oh, and look at this.
Compass.
The compass, that is a very important item because now he's going to know exactly where Zelda is. So now the only thing he has to find, now of course, he could be blocked from where he is right now, but if he keeps taking this path, I wonder if he can get to where Zelda could be. So now the only thing he's got to do is find the silver arrows. We might have ourselves a comeback win.
Yeah, finding the compass is huge. I mean, we know the silver arrows are definitely required, but finding the compass there is gigantic because even if, Core finds the silver first, he still doesn't know where Ganon is. I mean, Zelda is. So having that location is huge.
And unfortunately, Core finds where one of the normal 3 hints would be, but it is just a community hint. So one of the 3 possible hints of knowing the location of either the arrows or Zelda or Ganon is out of play.
Yeah, but I do love that community hint, though, that the last Patra is in captivity. That's a great one.
Yeah, I love it, too. Yeah, that was the hint I saw during my first randomizer race. So, yeah, I like that community hint as well. Takes care of those orange land molas.
Yeah, the one big advantage at this point that Core has, he definitely has gotten a little bit farther into 9 than Zeb has. However, Zeb is also going to have to burn one of his potions right now because he is sitting at a half a heart. And as I say that, Core is probably going to have to do the exact same thing, except he's only got a blue bottle. So having the extra blue potion is going to be huge for Zeb here.
That's right, because if you remember, CoreZero didn't have enough rupees to buy the red Kool-Aid, so he's going to have to drink the blue Kool-Aid, and now he's out of potions, so yeah, that could be a factor.
And they are both in the same room right now. High fives all around.
Oh my goodness gracious. Couldn't ask for a better race. Taking the same paths now again. That means no one's near the silver arrows yet. Somebody's got to find them sooner or later.
Yeah, this is an interesting dichotomy that you see here because the paths that they're going to take ultimately are going to end up diverging based on what they have available because over on Core's side, he has the any key, but he has 0 bombs. Meanwhile, Zeb is going to be a little bit more frugal on his keys, but he does have bombs to play with.
His key situation is still in okay shape. But yeah, the bombs are definitely going to be in play because now Core can't do any excavating, or his excavating rather is going to be limited.
But he did excavate his way into a spiral staircase.
And we've not seen this staircase yet. What could be behind that staircase? Another
staircase.
Of course. Game knows. So the search for the silver arrows continues, and he's going to find that he's in the same area because we just saw that Core had been in where Ganon's normal room is, and now a different staircase for Zeb. What's behind this staircase? Another staircase. Go figure.
However, that staircase is good information for Zeb to have because look where it takes him. It takes him a little bit closer to where Zelda might be located.
Yep. And I'm telling you, if those arrows are near where Zelda is, that could be your ball game. And it looks like Core has found the exact same passageway. Is he going to take it? Yes, he is. So he's going to be in the same area. And now another staircase. He's got to take care of those wizrobes first, but he's having a little bit of problems at the moment. Oh, he just took an ace. The good news is, again, both of these players have the red ring, so you wouldn't think health would be too much of a factor, even with these difficult wizrobes. Well, he bombs himself downwards.
Yeah, that's the thing is that Core can't bomb down, so he can't actually get to the path where Zelda is going to be located.
And meanwhile,
And from the look, neither can Zeb.
yeah, well, I was just about to say the rich get richer in bombs because now Zeb is back to the maximum number of 10 bombs, but he's now down to 2 keys, so that is going to start to be a factor, and we now know where Zelda is. So he has found the way to get to Zelda, but unfortunately, no silver arrows.
Yep, so that the thing is that knowledge is going to cost a key, but that is huge knowledge to have because we now know that finding Zelda is a magical staircase. And oh, he found the silver arrows hint!
Oh boy, and where is it?
The northwest of the skull, so that's huge for Zeb. He now knows this quadrant of the skull map he has to look in. So
Wow.
that is gigantic.
Now the only question is, can he find the way to get to that northwest part of the skull and find those silver arrows? My goodness gracious, what a lucky hand that Zeb just got. I'm telling you, Zeb is running lucky so far in this level 9. I told you it was going to come down to this kind of who was going to find it faster, who was going to get luckier. So far, Zeb has gotten luckier.
However, the blue wizards and the bubbles were having none of Zeb's block clipping there in that room, telling him that he's going to wait his turn, bide his time, and you will go when we tell you it is acceptable to go.
Exactly. They have no mercy at all.
Oh, wouldn't it be crazy if the silver arrows were right in this room, right above where that door was?
He's going to go even north still and find another staircase. Well, now he's got 2 keys, and no, this is another passageway, and what is he going to do? He's opting to go back. Down to 2 keys, so if he decides to go towards the northwest he's already gone north.
Yeah, I mean,
according to that map.
It makes sense to take a look at the staircase, see where it's going to lead him, and that's going to lead him to the spiral staircase that we found earlier now. He's just going to opt to go back in here because he's going to do everything he can to not waste keys.
Exactly, but he's going to have decisions to make because he's seen the hint. He knows where he needs to go. The question is, can he pick the right path? Because you can see he's now in the northern part of the skull.
I found another staircase here.
Wow, could this be the staircase?
Getting shoot roomed.
Oh, no. And this is bad news because there is now 2 keys.
However, this reverse C, this could be it.
This is his only hope because if it's not there, he's bombed his way through.
So he might have already been to the reverse C room there.
Possibly. Well, he finds another Patra. We have not seen this particular Patra yet. But yeah, keys are definitely going to be a factor. He's down to just a single 1. He's going to continue to work his way west. Finds a bunch of blue wizrobes. No fun.
He's going to have to be very careful managing his life because he still has a potion, technically, but he probably doesn't want to use it unless he absolutely has to.
He's now down to just a full heart, so yeah, health is going to be a factor. So it's going to be same level pegging in terms of the health. Meanwhile, it looks like CoreZero is still around the middle part of the map, so he's not anywhere near the silver arrows. He's going to bomb to the left. Same bat time, same bat channel. I feel like doing the spiel now that I've seen that. Will ZebGedney find the arrows first? Will CoreZero rescue Zelda? Will either of these heroes defeat Ganon? Tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, interesting. We have Zeb opting to take this staircase here, and gives him a little bit of an advantage. He can skip over some keys here.
Meanwhile, CoreZero exited the dungeon. I'm thinking he's either going to buy some potion or some bombs or both, I would imagine now.
At this point, because he up A, he has to be going for potions and bombs. There's no other reason to up A there.
Totally agree. Meanwhile, Zeb uses his blue Kool-Aid, so he's now out of potion.
Right, but the advantage Zeb has now is he's still in level 9, and he knows the path to everything. So he just has to, again, stay up here in the northwest and find the silver arrows, which he's been getting very lucky with when it's come to his path. However, we know that this area doesn't contain it because we've seen it already on Core's side of things. But the advantage that Zeb has is he's got a bomb if he wants to bomb left. And he can bomb left because there is still one row of rooms over here. Unfortunately, getting trolled a little bit there.
Yep, but he bombs, and yep, it's no good.
Zeb now desperately seeking a way to get into the left-hand column and finally gets one here. Now this is interesting because Core has now made his way back into 4 because he doesn't get the item in here, so he's going to be disappointed that he found
Zeb, but look at
Zeb
this, TG.
Silver!
Zeb has just found the jackpot, the silver arrows. Now all he has to do is backtrack his way to Ganon and Zelda, and this race is his.
That is huge. So the fact that Core didn't get the hit up in the Northeast, the fact that Core had no bombs in 9 was huge. So keys looked like they were going to be a factor here, but not having bombs turned out to be a bigger factor. Now at this point, Zeb just has to remember, how did I get to Ganon?
Yep, that's an important thing. Hopefully he was paying attention to where he was going. He's studying the map right now. Yeah, little does he know, he actually has a good deal of time because Core right now is backtracking, picks up the recorder.
Yeah, but now it's going to be interesting because you have Core going to go and get the hearts off of the fairy. So he now is going to make his way back to 9. He knows he still has to dig for silver arrows. The thing with Zeb is he has to remember how to get back to Ganon. Now he is opting, at least in my mind, to not up A because it's going to be, he still has, 10 full hearts in Red Ring. So he is opting to take the long walk back to Ganon because up Aing would put him in a situation where he only has 3 hearts to play with.
And even with the red ring, taking a high roll driver is going to cost you one of your precious hearts. I mean, you don't want to be in the situation where you're in a race and you're in a very tight race and you end up losing the race because you didn't have enough health against Ganon.
But he now is in the general area that he needs to be to find Ganon, so we are now good.
All right, and here's not yet. A little premature there. You kind of got me excited a little bit, TGE.
I said general area.
I know you said general area, and it's, given how long it's been since we've seen this part of level 9, I kind of got excited a little bit.
Kids these days. Okay, this next room when it gets dark, now you can go ahead. And now?
Here's Ganon.
Ooh, this layout's not gonna be fun. Ganon in a Chevy Island room.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, this is going to be a fun fight. But again, with all the health, I don't think it's going to be too much of a factor. Well, there's 2 hits. There's the 3rd hit.
And a high roll driver to boot.
Yep, so he gets the 4 hits in, but not before he did pick up a high roll driver. So, yep, he has defeated Ganon. So all he has to do is backtrack to where Zelda is, and this race will be over.
Now, the fun part about that is does he remember how to get there? He's hoping he can bomb down.
Nope,
unfortunately,
no
he
such
can't.
luck.
Now, he is going to have to kill these likes, which isn't necessarily a bad thing considering he has, silver arrows and magic sword. And 170 rupees to go with them. No need to get close to the pancakes. Just, take your time, shoot some arrows, add some syrup. The basics.
Well, he went through a couple of likes, though, so I guess he was hungry for some pancakes. So why the heck not, though? He's in good shape. He doesn't know he's in good shape, but he is in good shape to finish this race off. But he just has to find that path back to Zelda. And hopefully, for his sake, he remembers where that was.
Now, doing the dark ladder clip there, and, it's not made any more difficult because you still line up on the ladder, but it is swaggy as all heck.
Yep, that's how you know you're showing off your skills. You're able to do moves like that in the dark. I mean, I can't even do those kind of moves in the light, so yeah, credit to him. He knows what he's doing with those clips.
Yeah, it looks like he now just has to remember which stairway leads to Zelda here.
That wasn't the right way.
Nope, if I recall correctly, it was about 3 rooms south of here, and it was a corridor staircase. Okay, 4 rooms south. I lied.
Yep, there's that corridor staircase that you were talking about. So he's going to take that staircase, and if our calculations are correct, that is going to take him to the path. Yes, indeed. So, yep, all he's got to do is traverse a couple more rooms, and he's going to win this race, provided he doesn't get hit. He's down to 2 hearts, so he's got to be careful.
Yep, but the thing is, he already knows the path to Zelda because he's unlocked it earlier. Just has to avoid a nice little FU beam from a blue Wizrobe, and that is going to be Zelda. So that race was insane.
Wow, what a race this was. This was a really good race. Couldn't have asked for a better way to finish it off. So ZebGedney is your winner. He will advance to play against the number 2 seed, Unos, in the second round of the winner's bracket at a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 14 seconds. Nice race for him.
Now we still have got Core, meanwhile, over in level 9, trying to find the silver arrows. Now I do want to point out that for some reason, as obnoxious as the block design in this room is, I love the design of that room that he was in. But unfortunately for Core, he doesn't know where anything he's looking for still is, because he didn't get the hint up in the northeast telling him where the silver is, and he still hasn't explored any of the left-hand column. Though. If I'm Core without having any of the hints, that's the next place I look, is I try and get in that left-hand column.
Tell you what, for this was one of the more trollier seeds I've seen, not in terms of the dungeons themselves, but the fact that these guys went 55 and 56 minutes without a sword. So the fact that they were able to get through the seed in still a decent amount of time, I mean, that just shows the testament of how great these contestants are that we've got in the tournament.
Yeah, this is by far the craziest race I've seen. And now we have got the compass being picked up by Core over here, so that's going to give him the path to Zelda. Unfortunately, it still doesn't give him the path to the silver.
That's right, and as we already know, we know it's in the northwest part of the skull. Yeah, if CoreZero, I tell you, CoreZero, if he would have had an even bigger lead, then yeah, ZebGedney would have been able to neutralize that as well. No lead is safe, like I said before.
Yep, and now we do know that the path that Core is on currently is the right path he needs to be on. He just has to go left and south a couple of rooms so he can find his way to the left-hand column. Opting instead to kill the Patrick, which isn't necessarily a bad option because there's always the thing where Patrick could contain bombs, drop bombs, give you a fairy.
Oh, but he goes the wrong way.
The one advantage that Core has is keys aren't an issue here, because he can just, unlock any door that he wants to unlock.
Very true. And one of our people in chat is in disbelief that we went 50-plus minutes swordless. Yep, it is true. This race for 55 minutes was swordless for both players.
Yeah, so the big thing that Core has to do is he has to get himself one more over to the left so he can bomb into the left-hand column.
And it looks like he is heading for that direction right now, unless he makes the right turn. He's making the correct turn, though, to the left.
But as we well know, there is no way to get down there from here. We don't know if he can go left. I don't remember if we can. No. So he actually is going to not use his last bomb there and try and find another way around. So killing the Wizrobes in this room will give him a path to the other side, but I hear the famous kading from Discord, so that means I have to yell at somebody now. Sir, that was epic. Thank you very much.
Hey, everybody. Thanks.
Hey, ZebGedney, congratulations. That was a very well-played stage, and I tell you, what a crazy seed that was. I'm sorry about that. So excited. I bumped my little headset here. Congratulations on a very well-played a seed. I mean, 55, in your case, 56 minutes swordless.
Yes.
And then level 9, you had a crazy, lucky run on level 9 to make that win. How are you feeling right now?
I don't know, pretty like wired right now. It actually reminds me of the first time I did an any percent race. I just heart racing the whole time, just nervous. So,
Zeb, have you ever had a seed more crazy than this where we've gone this long without picking up a sword of any kind?
No, other than swordless. That was unique.
The one thing we're all waiting to ask you for, that little graphic that you showed TGE when you dodged Lord Banana. It looks like you had that all planned up.
Oh yes. I had that set up a while ago, and I was really hoping that he would, commentate this race. So.
All I'm gonna say is you have to go back and watch the VOD because I may or may not scream my head off.
I did too, because I saw that both of our reactions were quite priceless. But yeah. That was a really good race. I mean, played the game very, very well. Again, a really good level 9 and made all the right turns. So your next opponent is going to be the number 2 seed of our tournament in Uno. So are you looking forward to that matchup?
It should be pretty solid crushing on Eunice's part. He's going to be really tough to beat. I know typically whenever I go up against him in any sort of race, he's usually done around an hour or so.
That's
while
true.
I am
But you never know. Anything can happen in a Zelda randomizer race.
That's true.
What happened to some of the top seeds earlier? All it takes is something trolly, like we've seen a few times. And hey, anybody can win on any given race.
Yes, that is true.
So I guess I do want to ask here, going into 9, you had a very sort of small set of keys there. So obviously that was a factor in the way you played through 9, but was that a consideration at all with I can't even talk right now, was having all the extra bombs make that decision to go into 9 that way a little bit easier?
I just figured honestly, I knew where my keys were, but I guess I was just more focused on finding the silver arrow. I really did not want to go back to 7.
Sorry to interrupt, but CoreZero had found Ganon. He just got high roll drivered.
Ooh. I don't know if you noticed, but when I went to go to 9, I went down to the southwest, and I actually was playing a seed just before the race, and 9 was down there. And I went down there, and as soon as I looked at my map, I realized that was the warp. And had a quick panic of, had I found 9 yet? And when I realized I hadn't, I kind of got really nervous at that point, knowing that I hadn't done anything on Death Mountain yet. But luckily, it was the second place I checked.
Yeah, actually, both of you found 9 right about the same time. Actually, you guys basically you entered 9 around the same time. The difference was that I'm not sure if you're watching now. When Core went into 9, he had the any key, which was buried deep in 7.
Yes.
So the paths you guys took were actually very different because keys weren't an issue for him, but he had 0 bombs throughout the entire way, whereas you had to be thrifty on your keys, but kept getting bomb drop after bomb drop.
Yes. Interesting.
Meanwhile, the Chevy room continues to be problematic for CoreZero, down to half a heart. And that is going to do it for CoreZero again, as Ganon now has 2 matches under his belt.
So I guess the other question I want to ask is, because you didn't go back into 7 to find the item, how big of a sigh of relief was it when you found that hint telling you the silver was in level 9?
Yeah, that was amazing, because it was coming around, and I just kept waiting for it to say, lies elsewhere. I just kept waiting for it to happen, and even when it said, I think it said lies in the northwest. So I saw the word lies. I was like, and yeah. As soon as I saw the word northwest, I was very happy.
And at that point, you were actually down to 2 keys when you were approaching the Silver Arrows area, so you again, you made the right decision of where you needed to go, and again, you just had a really, really good level 9. Everything just rolled for you. That's the kind of level 9s you need to win races, especially against opponents like Unos and Crystal Saver.
Yeah, those, I can't even begin to think how I'm going to play against them. This is, well, at least Unos, this is...
Yeah. Meanwhile, the third time is the charm for CoreZero as he takes care of Ganon and can now make his way towards the princess.
Was there a better path to get to the princess than the way I went? I kind
That's
of
the only
quickly
path.
looked, but okay.
It's the only path, yeah, because obviously you couldn't get through from the north.
Right.
And there was another way where it looks like you could have gotten to Zelda, but there was no dice there. So yeah, the path you found to get to Zelda was the only path.
Okay.
Yeah. Core, meanwhile, real quick, exiting 9 and going for some bombs and finds 2 4-packs. So he is going to be at a, well, normal full complement of bombs. And when we say we don't know about the fastest path, we haven't discovered another one there yet. We're pretty sure it's a magical staircase situation where you have to take the way you actually did.
Right. Got it. And I take it Core hasn't found the staircase to get over there yet?
I think he did. I think you guys were both in the same area, but he again was there without bombs. So yeah, I think if I remember correctly, the way he has to get there, unless he can bomb to the right here, which I don't think he can, is to take the staircase that takes him to the reverse C room, and then go down 4 rooms and take that corridor.
I'll tell you what. Actually, now that I think about it, you know what? ZebGedney was the only one to find the wooden sword, and he opted to take the candle, which TGE really thought that was a good move. So, hey, if you wouldn't have taken that, we wouldn't have had this swordless battle. So, good on you.
Yeah, I figured having the wand. Why grab a weaker weapon? I don't know.
Absolutely right.
Looks like there was an easier path to get to Zelda. You can just bomb right a couple rooms south where you got there.
And now, we'll never know where the white sword was, and I'm still sticking by my guns that it was in the rafting area where Vanilla level 4 is.
No, that was in any road.
Oh, then the other rafting area, perhaps?
No, I'm pretty sure. I think we checked both of them. White sword wasn't there.
Now, meanwhile, CoreZero has found Zelda and has ended his race in a time around 92 minutes and 40 seconds. See what the official time is. 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 35 seconds for CoreZero.
Getting the swag negative Link sprite as well as he goes and rescues the princess. So while we are waiting to get Core in here, which I assume we are, I do want to remind everybody that please, please, please do not go anywhere because we still have 2 more races tonight. The first one is going to take place right here in about 15 minutes time, and that is going to be by the lovely Adirondack Rick, and he is going to be your host for that one. And then an hour from then, over on Crimson Avix's channel, we're going to have our final race of the evening, and I will be your guide over there.
By the way, that next race coming up that Rick is going to be commentating on, that is a matchup between Paratrooper and the Dave.
All right, and with that, we do have joining us here in the chat, CoreZero.
Hello.
Well, CoreZero, nice to have you on board for the interview. So tell me, what were your thoughts about the seed? I mean, you had 55 minutes without a sword, and you managed to get all 8 Triforces without a sword. Can you explain how you felt about that seed?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that part because up until about the 8th Triforce, I didn't even think about the fact that I didn't have a sword. And I'm like, oh, wait, I need a sword to beat the game. And so I just sort of had a panic moment, like, all right, now I need to find a sword. I need to go everywhere to find something. Thankfully, I found the Master Sword pretty quickly, or Magic Sword. But that
we had discovered that 11 hearts was what you needed to get that.
Okay, I didn't know at that point. I mean, I figured he had probably found it. But...
About a minute after you did.
Okay.
Yeah, so both of you guys, basically the entire seed, both of you guys got all 8 Triforces with wands only.
I must say, both of you displayed a very impressive show of your Zelda 1 skills. I mean, to get through almost an hour of gameplay without the sword, I mean, that is quite dedication, and both you and ZebGedney should be proud of the races that you were able to perform tonight. Going to level 9, though, tell me what happened there, what caused you to have some struggles there, because it looked like, because you both came in there about the same time, but it looked like Zeb just got a little lucky. What do you think happened?
Well, I don't know what sort of equipment and stuff he had going in at that point, but I ran out of bombs and was just kind of wandering aimlessly. I knew I hadn't found the item in level 4. I had made note that it was blocked by Goma, so I was getting to the point where I'm like, I'm wandering aimlessly. Let me just go see if I can find the silver arrows, give myself a little bit of a boost, and so I chose to left, kind of at that point 50-50 chance, and made the wrong choice, so that really didn't help. But I was getting turned around a lot. I don't make really good notes for level 9. It's the one thing I don't do well when I'm...
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the nature of a Zelda randomizer race for level 9s, is all you have to do is make that one wrong turn, and it changes the race completely. And unfortunately, that wrong turn did you in. But again, you had a really good race. You played very well, and we'll definitely see you later on in the tournament.
Yeah, I was proud of that. I felt like I was going pretty good up until 9, and then 9 just stalled me out. And I was just happy to get there before I saw the dot done from the other person. That was my goal, be in level 9 before I saw.
Yep, that's the reason why we call level 9 the great equalizer. No lead is safe, but again, you two got in there pretty much the same time. So yep, it was just a race on who would end up gotten luckier, and ZebGedney this time end up getting luckier.
All right, well, good game to him. That was fun, but yeah, that level 9, I need to figure out a way to take better notes.
Good game to you too, and good luck with all your races going forward.
Excellent match to the both of you. We will see you on later on in the tournament. You two have a great evening, and we'll see you again soon.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.